بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبه نستعين وما توفيقي إلا بالله عليه توكلت وإليه أنيب. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا وانصرنا وانصر بنا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا واجعل الجنة مثوانا. وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, we hope to continue with our lessons, taking lessons from the glorious Quran. Today, the 6th of Ramadan, 1442 years after the Hijrah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is equivalent to 16th, is it correct? 18th of April. 18th of April 2021. In this Masjid of Federal University of Technology, Minna. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide us. May Allah use us also to guide others. May Allah help us and also use us in helping others. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from His guidance. May He subhanahu wa ta'ala make Al-Jannah to be our final abode. Inshallah, we will continue from where we stopped at Surah An-Nisa, that is chapter 4 of the glorious Quran. And we are in verse. We started verse 11 to 12.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين فإن كن نساء فوق اثنتين فلهن ثلثا ما ترك وإن كانت واحدة فلها النصف ولأبويه لكل واحد منهما السدس مما ترك إن كان له ولد فإن لم يكن له ولد وورثه أبواه فلأمه الثلث فإن كان له إخوة فلأمه السدس من بعد وصية يوصي بها أو دين. آباؤكم وأبناؤكم لا تدرون أيهم أقرب لكم نفعا فريضة من الله إن الله كان عليما حكيما. ولكم نصف ما ترك أزواجكم إن لم يكن لهن ولد فإن كان لهن ولد فلكم الربع مما تركوا من بعد وصية يوصين بها أو دين. ولهن الربع مما تركتم إن لم يكن لكم ولد فإن كان لكم ولد فلهن الثمن مما تركتم من بعد وصية توصون بها أو دين. وإن كان رجل يورث كلالة أو امرأة وله أخ أو أخت فلكل واحد منهما السدس فإن كانوا أكثر من ذلك فهم شركاء في الثلث من بعد وصية يوصى بها أو دين غير مضار وصية من الله والله عليم حليم.
Alhamdulillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, as as Madam recited, يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين فإن كن نساء فوق اثنتين فلهن ثلثا ما ترك وإن كانت واحدة فلها النصف ولأبويه لكل واحد منهما السدس مما ترك إن كان له ولد فإن لم يكن له ولد وورثه أبواه فلأمه الثلث فإن كان له إخوة فلأمه السدس من بعد وصية يوصي بها أو دين آباؤكم وأبناؤكم لا تدرون أيكم أقرب لكم نفعا فريضة من الله إن الله كان عليما حكيما. Yesterday we go through this, and virtually what has been covered in this first verse is what is on the board, except for a few things there. The issue of sharing of inheritance, as we rightly say, Allah Ta'ala did it himself to show the importance of this particular issue and to also bring out the rights, especially of the women that have been suffering for long years denials in terms of benefiting from the estate or from the resources of their either husbands or even their parents sometimes. Some people will just carry the wealth and the estate and forget about the women. And that is why one of the reasons that was advanced why this particular verse was revealed. We remember we discussed the issue of Yatama offerings, why it was revealed, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought the clear rule of handling the issue of the offerings. Now on this there is a hadith which Imam al-Bukhari reported. Some scholars say that is the reason behind this particular verse being revealed. And it is related to Jabir bin Abdullah. That one of these days, Jabir bin Abdullah fell sick. He was sick. فَعَادَهُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. So the messenger visited him. He was sick. When the messenger of Allah visited him, فَقَالَ كَيْفَ أَصْنَعُ فِي مَالِي يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. He now said to the messenger of Allah, oh the messenger of Allah, what will I do with my wealth now? What will I do with my resources? So from there, this particular verse was revealed to clarify how all these issues related to inheritance is concerned. This is another position of some scholars. So from here we realize that why this verse was revealed is to clarify one issue, and then Allah made it general to solve the entire problem of inheritance. One wonderful thing you see about the glorious Quran, in one sentence, Allah mentioned so many calculations mathematically. In one sentence, He solved huge problems related to inheritance that covers wide range of family link, from parents to daughters to brothers to sisters to parents and to children and all in one verse. Then the next verse also expatiates to complete that before we can see the other areas that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught, especially at the end of this surah, Surah Al-Nisa. So this shows the great knowledge that is embedded and is there in the glorious Quran. I pray Allah ta'ala assist us. And also that the verses of the glorious Quran sometimes are revealed due to questions. That someone will have an issue, he will raise the issue, then Allah ta'ala will reveal a verse that will clarify this issue and then even cover much more than that particular issue that is specific. There is also another narration that there was another case that involved Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman is a brother to Hassan bin Thabit. One Abdurrahman, you know Hassan bin Thabit, among the companions of Prophet Muhammad. So when this issue about Abdurrahman, that his wife died, his brother died. When his brother died, he left his own wife. He left his wife and then the wife with 5 daughters. 5 daughters. So 5 daughters and then this particular brother. So the brother now packed the whole thing that his brother left. And he used to have even some cultures, isn't it? So the brother packed everything. He didn't give the woman anything, not to talk about that of her own daughters. So she now came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to report the case. Then after reporting that case, then the verses of inheritance were revealed. It can be different cases happening. Do you get that? And then you see that's why some scholars is when they're talking about asbabun nuzul, they talk about munasabatun nuzul. Certain issues related to revelation, not necessarily the reason for the revelation, but issues happen that are related to the revelation. Sometimes it's different issues. And that's why sometimes if you study this area about the asbabul nuzul, you see different opinions of people saying this is why this was revealed, and another person said this is why this was revealed. Scholar will not say these are all related issues that happened, then Allah Ta'ala revealed a particular verse to clear that particular issue. So after we finish, maybe we'll give an assignment. How do we share this one? This woman that the brother to her father, the brother to her husband, he packed everything, and she has 5 daughters. What ordinarily would have been their shares? Because this time around he packed everything. So we'll study it also. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Yusikum Allahu fi awladikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is instructing you in respect to our children. للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. We are just repeating this because we mentioned yesterday. للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. To every male child, he shall have double of what the daughter, the female child, will inherit. فَإِن كُنَّ نِسَاءً, and that one daughter. You see that? That is the first portion. We have divided it just as we said. Those that inherit half, those that inherit 1/4, those that inherit 1/8, those that inherit 2/3, those that inherit 1/3, and those that inherit 1/6. So for a daughter, we mentioned after that one half, 5, meaning 5 categories of people are entitled to what? To half. So Allah mentioned one now. فَإِن كُنَّ نِسَاءً فَوْقَ اثْنَتَيْنِ فَلَهُنَّ ثُلُثَا مَا تَرَكَ. If there are more than one daughter, they will inherit 2/3. 2/3. Where is the 2/3? Here, that is why you have plural of daughters from 2 and above. And that's what Allah Ta'ala is making here. فَإِن كُنَّ نِسَاءً فَوْقَ اثْنَتَيْنِ فَلَهُنَّ ثُلُثَا مَا تَرَكَ. Sorry, we didn't mention that of half yet, for the daughters, because we are just saying the share of the son, a male child should be double of that daughter, that's all. Then, وَإِن كَانَتْ وَاحِدَةً فَلَهَا النِّصْفُ. This is the case. If the daughter is only one, فَلَهَا what? النِّصْفُ. She have half. So that is what, that one. Can you be taking? So that we know the ones we have handled. So you take half, we have handled that one. No, don't take this thing, just take the name, yes. Daughters, yes. Daughters. What I have, these daughters, if they are to tap. So this is this one. وَإِنْ كَانَتْ وَاحِدَةً فَلَهَا النِّصْفُ وَلِأَبَوَيْهِ لِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا السُّدُسُ. To all the parents, وَلِأَبَوَيْهِ, to the parents, meaning the father and the mother, لِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا السُّدُسُ. All of them have 1/6, and that is father and mother. All of them have 1/6. When will they have 1/6? The matter like in kana lahu walad. The condition the deceased have a child. He has a son. So if he has a son, that is when this one will happen. You see, the mother is occupying 2 places, either 1/3 or 1/6. So she comes to 1/6 because he has a child. And that child, irrespective of the gender, it can be male child, it can be female child, they still come. So when we are talking about the child here, we're not referring to the son. So if there is a child, the parents automatically come to 1/6. The matraka in kana lahu walad. فَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ وَلَدٌ. If he doesn't have a child, وَوَرِثَهُ أَبَوَاهُ, and is the parent that will inherit him, the parent, فَلِأُمِّهِ الثُّلُثُ, then the mother will now come back to 1/3. The mother comes back to what? 1/3. What is the reason for her coming back to 1/3? So you see, her share have increased, isn't it? Her share have increased because there is no son. The father was not brought back. And don't say then the share of the father is less. No. The share of the father will be taken care of later. Do you get that? So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَةٌ. If he now have brothers, فَلِأُمِّهِ السُّدُسُ. The mother will come back to assist. If you have brothers, the mother will not come back to assist. She was 1/6 when there was children, right? If there is no children or child, she come back to 1/3. But if there are brothers, meaning brothers to the deceased, do you get the point? Brothers to the deceased, she come back to 1/6, meaning her share is reduced. All this information will make some discussions there. Remember the wasiyatin yusi biha aw dayn. All these things will happen after the wasiyah, meaning he might have left a will. So after that have been completed, aw dayn, or a kind of loan that is on him, that is debt. So the debt will be settled. As we said, scholars say debt will start first. The Quran now brought wasiyah aw dayn, but when you have to start with dayn before wasiyah. That's what scholars say. So after you pay the debt, you settle the wasiyah, then you now do all this division. Allah then says, Aba'ukum wa abna'ukum la tadruna ayyuhum aqrabu lakum naf'a. Your parents, your children, you cannot know who among them will benefit you the most. Allah knows better, and this sharing that have been shared, don't deny anyone. You wouldn't know who will even benefit you even after your death. Who will use this wealth in a manner that is a just way, spend the wealth in a just way, or in a way that is halal, or even bring some benefits to you. Who will waste that particular resources? Who will even pray for you? Who will you don't know among those who will do this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Faridatan min Allah. This is a decree, a rule, a law from Allah. So the law of inheritance is a law that Allah ta'ala established. Inna Allah kana aliman hakima. Allah ta'ala is forever and always knowledgeable and full of wisdom. There is nothing outside knowledge and wisdom that Allah ta'ala did reveal. Then the second verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَكُمْ نِصْفُ مَا تَرَكَ أَزْوَاجُكُمْ إِنْ لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُنَّ وَلَدٌ فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُنَّ وَلَدٌ فَلَكُمُ الرُّبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكْ مِنْ بَعْدِ وَصِيَّةٍ يُوصِينَ بِهَا أَوْ دَيْنٍ وَلَهُنَّ الرُّبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ إِنْ لَمْ يَكُنْ لَكُمْ وَلَدٌ فَإِنْ كَانَ لَكُمْ وَلَدٌ فَلَهُنَّ الثُّمُنُ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ وَصِيَّةٍ تُوصُونَ بِهَا أَوْ دَيْنٍ وإن كان رجل يورث كلالة أو امرأة وله أخ أو أخت فلكل واحد منهما السدس فإن كانوا أكثر من ذلك فهم شركاء في الثلث من بعد وصية يوصى بها أو دين غير مضار وصية من الله والله عليم حليم. Allah Ta'ala then mentioned again, وَلَكُمْ نِصْفُ مَا تَرَكَ أَزْوَاجُكُمْ. You will have, meaning the husbands, you will have nisfu ma taraka azwajukum, half of what your wives left behind. So you now take that for husband. Husband, half of what your wife left behind. But how will you get half when in lam yakun lahunna waladun? If the wife didn't leave any child. That child might belong to you or might belong to another home. It doesn't matter. As much as she have another child, then the issue changes. Do you get the point? But if she doesn't have an issue at all, she died, then after her death, you have half of her own wealth. فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُنَّ وَلَدٌ فَلَكُمُ الرُّبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكَ. But if they have a child, and we say all these children we're talking about, whether it's a male child or what? A female child. Falakum will come back to rubu. That is, you will come to 1/4. You see that? So you now come to 1/4. When? When there is a child. Whether you are the one that give back to the child, or she got the child from somewhere. She married somewhere, she had a child before she married you. You will now come back to 1/4. فإن كان لهن ولد فلكم الربع مما ترك من بعد وصية يوصين بها أو دين. All this will be settled after she will have settled her debt also. The debt she left behind, or the wasiyah she left behind, this one would have been settled before that particular share. وَلَهُنَّ الرُّبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ. To them, that is your wife now. If you are the one that died and left your wife, then they will have a rubu', they will have 1/4. Wife, 1/4. So we have finished 1/4, isn't it? But they will have this 1/4 مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لَكُمْ وَلَدٌ, if you don't have any child. If you don't have any child, that is when she is now going to be at 1/4. This child, whether she is the one that gives birth to the child or she is not the one that gives birth to the child, it doesn't matter. Whether the child is in your house or is somewhere, as much as you are the one that gives birth to the child, then the same thing, she is denied. What do you call? She will going to she will inherit 1/4. That is if you don't have a child, isn't it? If you don't have a child. Then Allah Ta'ala said, وَإِن كَانَ لَكُمْ وَلَدٌ, if you have a child, whether that child is a male child or a female child, فَلَهُنَّ الثُّمُنُ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ. If you have a child, فَلَهُنَّ الثُّمُنُ, then they will now be transferred to 1/8. You see that? 1/8. So a wife whose husband doesn't have a child will inherit what? 1/4. And a wife whose husband have a child will inherit what? 1/8. So you have finished the issue of wives, because this is generally what might happen. And you remember I mentioned one thing. We'll discuss about Hajj, so that we realize that there are certain people that there is no way they can be denied inheritance. No way. And those are like the parents, like the spouse, the husband, the wife, and like the children. There is no way they can be denied inheritance, except if one of the three things we mentioned earlier. Remember, either that is the cause of the death of the person. If you kill someone, kill his father, or kill his son, or kill his son, then he has no share of inheritance. In this case, there are, divided opinion among scholars of fiqh. Like in the school of thought of Imam Malik, is that if the killing is not deliberate, if the killing is by mistake, maybe you just throw something somewhere, then before you realize it, it was said that you hit your son, or you hit your father, or somebody, and he died. Then in this case, that you can inherit from him. Do you get the point? But there are some school of thought, I think Shafi school of thought also, that no, as much as the killing happens, you don't have any share to inherit from the person that died. This is just for that explanation. So Allah Ta'ala is saying now, فَلَهُنَّ الثُّمُنُ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ وَصِيَّةٍ تُوصُونَ بِهَا أَوْ دَيْنٍ. All these things after settling debt. Then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, وَإِنْ كَانَ رَجُلٌ يُورَثُ كَلَالَةً أَوْ امْرَأَةٌ وَلَهُ أَخٌ أَوْ أُخْتٌ فَلِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِنْهُمَا السُّدُسُ. Then وَإِنْ كَانَ رَجُلٌ, if it is someone يُورَثُ كَلَالَةً, that his inheritance is such that he doesn't have a head directly, no bottom directly, meaning he doesn't have a father directly, death is parent, and he doesn't have any children. Do you get the point? But he has brothers. Do you get that? We'll come with this all brothers. They will now fall under what? As-sudus. They are going to fall under 1/6. فَإِنْ كَانُوا أَكْثَرَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ, if there are more than that particular number, then فَهُمْ شُرَكَاءُ فِي الثُّلُثِ, they will now go and share 1/3. Scholars says, this share, the brothers are brothers that share the same mother. Take note of that. The brothers that share what? The same mother. Not brothers that share the same father and mother. And that's the wisdom sometimes of taking lessons. It's not directly mentioned here in the Quran, but by consensus of scholars, that is that. Because a brother that is shaqiq, who have the same father and mother with the brother, he is among those people that inherit through what is called ta'asib, which we are going to explain later. So this one we are talking about that. And if there are more than one, there are many, male and female, they will go and share equally. Do you get the point? That one ceased. They will share it equally. Neither that of the male is greater than the woman, double as it is the case with the children, but they are going to share it the same thing. The same thing, if they are joining in the 1/3, you get that. They are also going to share it. So you can recall what I was saying earlier, that those that will say the share of, the share of the women are always half of men, I say it's not true. It always depends on circumstances. In certain circumstances, they take the same thing. Imagine someone who died. He doesn't have father, he doesn't have mother, he doesn't have children. All he has is brother and sister that they all belong to the same mother. Do you get that? I mean, the kind of responsibility on him is almost the same on the two of them. Do you get that? So by the time the share of his wife maybe is taken out, do you get that? Maybe he has a daughter, her share is taken out, then their own share is taken out. You may have another person that may take the other if there is. Do you get that? So the sister and the brother that share the same what? Mother is the one we are referring to. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, remember you said to Sabiha Awdain, غَيْرَ مُضَارٍ, without causing harm to any. This harm is in respect to wasiyah. That person that left a will. You remember we discussed this one, that you can't leave a will greater than what? 1/3 of your property. So if you leave a will that is greater than 1/3, you are causing harm to the real heirs that will inherit you, and therefore that will not be executed. In fact, some scholars says, at a point even the 1/3, leaders can look at it. For example, you have like 20 children or 30 children. You have 4 wives. You have your father and mother all alive, and you died and left 1 million. And then after you left 1 million, you said, they say 1/3 is 300,000 and something. So you are leaving a wasiyah of 300,000 for that to build a masjid. And you leave them with how much? 700,000. So what you have given is actually less than 1/3, isn't it? But if you look at it clearly, your heirs, you have put them into a kind of bad situation, isn't it? You give 100,000 maybe to a scholar or to alim or to build a school, and then 700,000 to all this number of people. So scholar says that is also to avoid غَيْرَ مُضَارٍ, this issue of harming, then that particular kind of wasiyah may not be executed. Wallahu alimun halim. Allah is full of knowledge and Allah is also forbearing. So we go to the remaining aspect now that we are not mentioned. Do you get that? The remaining aspects. These are all these ones. Now, after that we will take some examples practically to share all these ones we have mentioned. So, from this part that we have a daughter, what I forgot to mention, whenever we are talking about a child, a son, I mentioned something yesterday. If there is no son, what happens? If there is no son, the grandson take the position. So even if that issue of the husband died and did not leave a child, if he has a grandson, he gave birth to a child, a male child, and the male child now gave birth to another person. So it affects the wife the same way. Do you get that? So the grandson always stands in place of the son. If there is the son is not even there. Then, so daughter, granddaughter, sister, that they share the same father and mother, then sister that they share the same father, then the husband. Then the husband here and the wife have mentioned the reasons. Then the wife now is the only one. Here two-thirds, we have only 4. And then here on top, we have a mother, which we have mentioned. Then the other one that will inherit 1/3. You remember what we have just mentioned now about someone, Yunus or Kalalata. Right? So if you have a brother that you share the same father and mother, and they are up to 2, then they come back here and share, what do you call it? 1/3. So you can say this is brothers of the same what? Same mother. They can be 2 and above. That is when this one will happen. Do you get that? 2 and above. That's when we inherit that. And it's not a facade and whatever else. Then this one, whether they are male or female, you remember we said so. Whether they are male or they are female, it doesn't matter. And if they are going to share it, they will go and share it equally. No preference of male or female listing. Then 1/6 now. Those that are to inherit 1/6, they are 7 in number. We have mentioned father, which was mentioned in the previous one, right? Then we have mentioned a mother at the point where the person that died have a child, have someone that he gave birth to. Then the next is Al-Jad, that is the grand. You know, we always talk about father and grandfather, and mother and grand. We said if there is no father, the grandfather also the same time. You get that? Just like that, if there is no son, the grandson come down. So the same thing, if there is no father, the grandfather come down. Then, Al-Wahida fa'aksara min banati al-ibn. If you have one sister, you get the point. one sister that's that's the daughter to your own son, granddaughter, sorry, granddaughter, right? Yes. If you have one granddaughter, she will inherit she will inherit here. We'll have to make one explanation. You see why this thing used to happen, this one ceased. You know, these grandchildren, if you have maybe two granddaughters, they will inherit two-thirds, and granddaughter cannot inherit. But sorry, I'm talking about daughters. If you have daughter, you know granddaughter will not inherit, right? But if you have one daughter, she gives room for the granddaughter to inherit. Because one daughter can only inherit one. And granddaughter can shift to the position of a daughter. But if a granddaughter shifts to the position of a daughter, she cannot go and share the same thing with a daughter. Do you get that? She cannot share the same thing with a daughter. So a daughter will take half. Do you get that? And a granddaughter will take 1/6. Do you get that? If you combine that, it's as if two children, daughters carry 2/3. Do you get that? It's as if two children carry 2/3 when you combine the granddaughter and the daughter and the granddaughter. So that is what it means here. That if there is a granddaughter that is one, then she will now come to inherit that. Then al-ukhtu lil-abi, a sister that you share the same father. A sister you share what? The same father only. Al-ukhtu lil-abi. If you have a sister that share the same father, ma'al-ukhtu shaqiqa, together with this particular sister that you share the same father and mother. You know the same thing, sister that you share the same father and mother, if there are two, they will carry what? They will carry 2/3. Then it happens it's only one. Do you get that? It's only one sister that you have the same father and mother, and there's a sister that you only join father together. So she will now come and join this particular sister, which is one, that Ahmad is up to these two, and then the sharing will be similar to what was done here. That sister that is the same father and mother will take half, while the sister that is of father only will take what? 1/6. So this is the next layer. 1/6 will come here. Then the next, al-wahid min walad al-ummi dhakaran kana aw untha. Those children, brothers that you share the same father. You know here we are talking about 2 or more, isn't it? We say 2 or more brothers who share the same mother. Do you remember that? So if it is only one that you share the same mother, then you come here and inherit here. Do you get that? One that you inherit here. That is al-wahid min walad al-ummi dhakaran kana aw untha. So a brother that you share the same mother. And this is referring to brother and sister. You know, we say we don't differentiate here. So even if it is a sister that you share the same mother, she also falls here. A brother, you share the same mother, she also falls in that particular place. Then al-jaddu ma al-walad aw walad al-ibn. Then the last one here is the grandfather. The grandfather, if there is a son. Look at the point. If he died and left a son, and there is no father to deny him inheritance. Do you get that? This is grandmother, yes. So if there is if there is son, then he will come and inherit here. Because if there is no son, this grandfather can take the position of father. And the position of father is that he can carry the wealth without passing through all these ratios. That is what is called tafseer, which I will explain now. All these ones are between half, 1/4, 1/8, 2/3, this and that. You will ask the question, where is son? Son was not mentioned. Do you see that? In the whole of this, there is no share of the son. Where did he fall? If someone should die and leave a son, where will he fall in all these categories? Because he was not mentioned. Do you get that? And there are certain cases that you will realize that the wealth, the money will remain somehow after sharing. Where will that particular remnant go to? So that is what we are going to now before we come back to certain examples. It is being called a tafseer. Scholars of Islam say there is the farilla, the fara'id, that is the ratio. Allah specified this is the ratio. Do you get that? Then those other ones that are entitled to inheritance, Allah didn't mention, they fall into people that will go for tafseer. Meaning they will pack whatever is left behind. They will what? They will take whatever is left behind. Maybe to understand that better. If someone should die and then leave a son and a wife, he died, he left a son and a wife. Those are the only people he left behind. What would we say about the share of a wife if the person has a son? 1/8. So if she takes 1/8, what happened to the son? That is the son will carry the son. This is the issue of the tafseer. The one that is not mentioned, after that ratio is taken in the remnant go to that. And that's why after sharing inheritance at the end, you add the ratio plus the remnant and it will give you the total for the whole sum that have been shared. If you take the ratio 1/3, 1/7, 1/8, because you have situation where you have the daughter, you have the wife, you have the mother, all these ones. The daughter pick her own, the wife pick her own, the mother pick her own, the remnant go to the son. All the children. By the time you have a daughter and a son, that daughter will not fall within all these categories. She just mix together with her own brother. And that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, that the Zakari, that is when the two of them will now go and share. So on Ta'asib, you can also write this one. On Ta'asib, those particular people, or before the Ta'asib, let's go to blocking first. That's what is called blockage. Blockage. Some will block some people that do not inherit, while some will shift them to another place. Do you get that? So let's get blockages. Blockages. That is hajj. Those that will block some people, they will not inherit. Now, we start with the father. The father automatically blocks a grandfather. Do you get that? He blocks a grandfather. Then the same thing, a father also blocks brothers. Father blocks brothers. But that's why I say this issue of mother, that it was mentioned if the deceased have children. The deceased have brothers, right? He has brothers. That mother will not inherit 1/3, she will shift to 1/6. So that remnant of hers will go to the father. Do you get that? So he will now be transferred to someone who will carry the remnant. Some say thuluthul baqi. Sometimes there is a wife, there is this that you carry, and then what is left behind, you will take 1/3 to the mother. But it's the same thing as saying that 1/6 come back to the mother, and the remnant go back to the father completely. Then the same thing, grandmother. If there is a mother, she also denies grandmother from inheriting. Do you get that? This is also the kind of blockage that is complete blockage. Then al-ibn, a son. If there is a child, male child, he blocks virtually everybody, other than the parents, the couple, and his own sisters or brothers. Once there is a male child, brothers cannot inherit. Once there is a male child, uncles, all those ones related to the deceased, none of them will inherit. Once there is a male child, none of these will inherit other than how many you mentioned?
Parents and siblings.
Parents, who?
The brothers and sisters.
Spouse, yes. The brothers and sisters will not inherit. Only his own. You get the point. His own brothers and his siblings, those are the ones that will inherit. But the uncles will not come there. You get the point. But now if there is a son, a male child, there is no father. There is a mother, but there is a grandfather. The grandfather will what? Will come down because of the absence of the father. Do you get that? So this is that. Then also we have The daughters, if they are up to 2, they will deny the granddaughters from inheriting. If the daughters are up to what? 2, they will deny granddaughters from inheriting. But if the daughter is 1, can they deny the granddaughters? We say the granddaughters will now be transferred to 1/6. Do you get that? But if the granddaughters are 2, because the issue is that the female children are usually given nothing more than 2/3. Once they are 2, they take 2/3, and that covers from the grandchildren as well, and other distance. Then the issue of Tafseer now, those people that inherit what is left behind. Let me read from here. There are many, those people that inherit through Tafseer. That means those that will pack the wealth. Do you get that? That is what we call the remnants. The remainder will go to this, like the father and up. So anytime you have a father, and then you have people with all these ratios around, do you get that? You take care of all those with the ratios, forget about the father. By the time you take care of all those with the ratios, what remains, you give the father. Do you get that? Father carries the whole wealth if he is the one that remains alone. The same thing will judge the grandfather, and we say we're in Allah. Judge is the same thing, whether it's great grand, whatever. So if he's alone, he can carry. Then when even, as well as a son, which I have mentioned earlier, the son also carry the whole wealth after sharing. Then the brother, the brother also carries the whole wealth if he has the chance of inheriting at certain points. For example, the woman that died, she didn't leave a child. Do you get the point? But she left her husband, her mother, and her brother. Do you get the point? She left her husband, her mother or her sisters, and then her brother. So at this instance, the brother will inherit. Do you get that? The mother have her own share because it has been specified here. When there is a child, she has a share. If the deceased don't have a child, she has a share. So you can't think of her in any other position. All those you hear will say, if there is a child, they fall here. If there is no child, they fall here. So you know their problem is solved. So the same thing for the husband. The husband also, his problem is solved. Because if she has a child, we have mentioned where the husband will fall. Where? 1/4. If she doesn't have a son, where will he fall? Half. So now she doesn't have a son, that particular husband will take half because she doesn't have a son. Do you get the point? Then her mother now, because she doesn't have a son, the mother will take what? The mother, he doesn't have. 1/3. She doesn't have a child. So she's entitled to what? 1/3. And then the husband is entitled to what? Half. So what remains will be given to the brother. So like now, if like 60,000, let me say 6 naira is left, so now we can share it easily. 6 naira is left, can make it to 6 million, 6 billion. 6 naira is left. What will be the share for the husband now?
3 naira.
3 naira, that's very good. What will be the share for the mother?
2 naira.
2 naira. Then how much remain now? That's what the brother will carry. So you can now add the number to whatever number you are sharing. You just take these ratios, keep them aside. If there's 1/3, 1/4, 1 this, keep them aside. Take the total sum, share it in that particular ratio. Whatever is left, then you now look at all these ones we have mentioned. Is it a father? Is it a grandfather? If you have not been denied inheritance, do you get that? Is it a brother or co? The same thing happened also to Ibn al-Akh. Ibn al-Akh, the son of a brother. That particular one also carry the entire remnant that will have been left. Then wal-a'amam. A'amam, those are the relation to the father. What do you call them? Is it the uncles? The relation to the father. The father has his own brother. Do you get the point? He died and left. So he has now wife, and the wife, the brother of that particular father. Do you get the point? At a point also, they can carry the whole wealth. It can be left for them also.
Is it just the masculine part? Is it the relation?
No, excluding the female. Just the female. There is no differentiation here, and that's why sometimes you have the shaqiqa, that is what do you call it? That is female, and then it should be referred to as taking tafsir instead of taking a particular ratio here. Do you get that? So this are that. So I think I have covered that. See, those people that are covered, then those people that can be denied, then those people that can be shifted from one position to the other. You can pick some here, and of course there are so many that we may not be able to cover all this. But we can cite some examples now. With this, if you ask more questions, maybe we can get many examples. But we cite example. Like someone died, just look at this table. Someone died, and then he left a wife, and then he left a son, and he left his mother, he left his father, and he left his daughters. Can we write that so that we can share it? What did I say? Someone died, the deceased. He left his wife, and then left his son, and then he left his father, and then he left his mother, and then he left his brother. That's very good. He left his brother. So now, well, the wife, the son, the father, the what? The mother, and then the brother. In this case, let us do quiz now. This particular side, what will be the share of the wife and wife? From this side. 1 over 8. Why is she taking 1 over 8? She has a son. So the wife will have 1 over 8. 1 over 8. Then, what will be the share of the son? So that's what we have just mentioned. That's the correct. This son now, you see automatically, you just keep him aside. Do you get that? Then, what is the share of the father? 1/6. 1/6. Why is the father carrying 1/6? Because he has the son. So this father will carry 1/6. What is the share of the mother? 1/6. Why is she carrying 1/6? Then what is the share of the brother? Why is the brother not counted? That's that, right? So assuming it's a daughter he left. He left a daughter. Come and do some care. He left a daughter. Like this. What will be the share of the wife?
1 over 8.
1/8. Because we said it doesn't matter whether it's a male child or a female child. So the wife will still carry 1/8. And then what will be the share of the daughter? That's good. You see, if it were son, we didn't apportion anything. But for a daughter, is al-faradat al-bint falaha al-nisf. Because she is one, as a daughter will give her half. Then what will be the share of the father?
1/6.
Okay, we'll count 1/6. Now the share of the father is 1/6, okay? What's the share of the mother? 1/6. The share of the mother is 1/6. What's the share of the brother? The remaining. Some say the remaining will go to the brother. What will happen? Father has automatically dropped his brother. Do you get that? Father has automatically dropped his brother. But then the issue By the time you share this, 1/6 to the mother and to the father, something will remain. Do you get that? And if something remains, then where will it be? So come back to the father. That is what we call Tafseer. Someone that can carry the entire wealth. Do you get that? Someone that can carry the entire wealth. If assuming when he died, he didn't leave a daughter. He didn't leave a daughter. He left a wife, he left a father and mother. How would the share look like now? How would the share look like? One to the wife, then the father, nothing it, then the mother, 1/4. And it's the same thing as taking that 1/6, and then the remainder will come back here and share it. They calculate the ratio. Do you get that? So then let's take granddaughter. Someone died. He died and left, or a woman, she died and left her husband. She left her husband, and then she left her granddaughter, and then she left maybe her daughter, and then she left her mother, and then she left her father, and maybe she left her grandfather. Like this. I think this is possible. So let's now take how the share will be off. The husband will carry what now? 1/4. Why is he carrying 1/4? Because that's his daughter. So this husband will carry 1/4. What will the granddaughter carry? Remember this. If the daughter is 1, the granddaughter can now have a place on the list. But if there are 2, they deny this one. So the daughter is still entitled to her half. You can't reduce her own because they are more than this thing. Her own will not reduce. At any time someone dies and you have only one daughter, she just have to take that half. Do you get that? Before you consider any other thing, if there is a father, there is a mother, there is this and that, the first thing is the daughter should carry half and go. Then the other things you can now begin to see how to share. Do you get that? And then now, what will the mother carry now? The mother will carry what? Why is she carrying 1/6? Because so the mother will be 1/6. And then what will happen to the father? The father will carry 1/6. Then what will happen to the grandfather? Why is he not protected? The father is there. Then what happened to the granddaughter? Yes, that's better than I will combine this one. So we'll now carry 1/6. If you take this one, something will remain. Just take the LCM and add or something will remain. Then it will come back to the book. The husband cannot carry more than 1/4. There is no way the husband can carry more than half or 1/4. That's the position of the husband. He take half if the wife doesn't have any issue. He take 1/4 if she gave birth to a child, male or female. But for the father, he can switch. If there is no son, he can then carry what remains. Do you get the point? If there is son, he can then remain where he is. So, and many other like this, I think there are a lot of examples that we can cite. But let's write practical examples also. As an assignment for us to solve now. The karatu today is more or less this thing. Let's consider someone died and left 24 million. Let's write. Someone died and left 24 million as cash. Then he died, he left a mother. He left a mother, a father, and a granddaughter. He left mother, father, and granddaughter. Those are the only ones he left. He left mother, he left mother, father, and granddaughter. Can we share that 24 million to them all?
Yes.
Okay. Let's have some few minutes, or just maybe 1 minute. We'll go through them and we'll ask some questions. We'll push together. Yeah? The granddaughter? The deceased can be any. The deceased can be any. Yes. Because they can all have mother, father, and granddaughter. And they left 24 million. Are we finished? Okay. So let's start now. We said he left mother, father, and granddaughter. He left mother, father, and granddaughter. Which ones do we consider first? Granddaughter. Granddaughter will carry what now? Half. Because she takes the position of the daughter. So this granddaughter is very lucky. So granddaughter will practically carry half of this one. Yeah? Then, who do you consider next? The father or the mother? The mother. Yes. What will the mother carry? 1/6. That is good. Why is she carrying 1/6? This one is like a daughter. Yes. So this one will carry 1/6. Then how about the father? Oh, you just keep quiet and say what remains. You get the point? Yes. So here, if it is 24, we say 24 million. What is the LCM of that? 6. The LCM is 6. Usually it's LCM that is used. You get the one.
You take LCM and then you take the ratio and multiply by. So you say 1/6 and 1/2. The LCM of this is 6, isn't it? So you divide this 1 million by 6. Do you get the point? And then 1/6 of 6 is what? Yeah? 1. Half of 6 is what? 3. Then whatever it is, so one ratio of this, if you share 24 million into 6, how much will you get? 4 million. So that 4 million is the 1/6. It will go to who? The mother will take 4 million. Do you get that? Yeah? Then the half for the daughter will be how much now? 12 million goes to the daughter. So whatever is left, what you will do is say 24 million will add this one, this is 16 million. 24 million minus 16 million is what? 8 million. Yeah? 16. Not 16 million. 8 million. Say 8 million goes to the father. Now those people talking about women's rights, the feminists. Women's rights. Do you feel that who is, even if there's maltreatment somehow in this country, the daughter is granddaughter was given automatically 12 million. Do you get the point? To go and take care of herself. The father is taking 8 million for his responsibility. The mother may be under the father, isn't it? And she is giving 4 million to go. Do you get that? Let's get another example, which may be the last before we can list. I think I am happy that we are taking it very well. Let's now consider this case. Someone or a lady, let's take a lady now. A lady died. She left her husband. She left her husband. And then she left her mother. She left her mother. She left her brothers, the same father and mother. Brothers, the same father and mother. Then she left one daughter and 2 granddaughters. 2 granddaughters. Let me mention that. What I say? What? She left what? Husband. She left husband. She left mother.
Brothers.
She left what?
Brothers.
Brothers, the same father and mother. She left who?
One daughter.
She left granddaughter. She left one daughter and then 2 granddaughters. And she left 8 million to be shared. Okay, let's say she left 12 million to be shared, so that I don't want us to get points. She left 12 million to be shared. She left 12 million to be shared. Have we finished? Okay, we're still battling with it. This year I'm not treated with you. They are going to what is called Auru. And we really treat that one, yes. There's going to be Auru. We have not treated that one. So change one thing here. And you can share it here. You share it, there's going to be what is called Auru. It will be a little bit different from what we have done before. So take that particular take away the mother and leave it as a father. Take away the mother and make it as father instead of mother. Take it as father. Yes. So instead of the mother, take it as father. Have we finished? Husband, father, one daughter, two granddaughters. Have we finished? Maybe let's do it together. I've seen time to do it. So she left. I said we replace this mother with what? Father. Where do we start? Daughter. I didn't make a brother. So now where do we start? Who do we start with? Daughter? Yes. Okay, let's start with daughter. What is daughter entitled to? Then who do we look at again? Husband is entitled to what? 1/4. Why? Because there's a child. Then who do we look at again? Father will have what? 1/6. Yes. Then who do we look at again? Brothers will have what? Some say brothers will talk. Some say what? Some say what? Some say nothing. We'll come and look at this. Some say nothing. Then how about the two granddaughters? Why do we say husband should carry 1/4? 1/4 because they are raised daughter. So this one is. Why do you say father should carry 1/6? Because they are a child. There is a daughter. Yes. Agree? You can stand there. The brothers. You said father covers the so brothers are mechanically separated. Brothers will not inherit anything. Then one daughter, she is 1/2. She is entitled to half. Then the two granddaughters are entitled to 1/4. 1/6. Do you get that? So what is the LCM of this? That is 12. So you share the wealth. We say it's 12 million. You share it into 12. You take 1/4 of that, you give a husband, sorry, half of 1/4 of 12 million is what? That's 3 million. You give this one. And the one daughter, you give her 6 million. This one you give 1/6, this one you give 1/6. If something remains, you add it to who? So I think these few examples suffice it. Then Allah Ta'ala said,
If you add up these things, it's more than the amount of it.
it will not be more than. Take them.
Okay, I will check.
So I want to stop here, inshallah. So I'm going to stop here, inshallah. Whatever we say is right, may Allah reward us in abundance. May Allah continue to guide us and be with us. The issue of inheritance, we didn't touch the issue of grandparents. Grandfather, there is what is called mukasa, what will join a grandfather and brothers. Sometimes grandparents, grandfather and brothers, sometimes do take similar position. Unlike father and brothers, that father can automatically eliminate brothers to the deceased. They get the point. But the grandfather will now come and will share together with the brothers. That's another position. Then we talk about the issue of awl. That is when you see the sharing will be moved. So there are some adjustments that is usually done in that particular aspect. But generally, hold on to these basic things. One, let's remember. One, the total number of people that are entitled for inheritance. We mentioned that. How many men? 10 categories. And the women, 7 categories. Be clear with that. Then number 2, try to know the issue of al-hajab, hajb al-naqali and hajb al-isqar. That means blockage. A blockage that will deny someone completely, and a blockage that will push someone from one ratio to another. Do you get that? Blockage that will deny and the blockage that will reduce what will be given. Then the next, you know the issue of these ratios of. Do you get that? The issue of all these ratios. Who is apportioned what? Who is entitled to what? Then you know the way to get the LCM and whatever to share. By the time you are able to get this, most of the sharing of inheritance can come easy. Those ones that are not mentioned here are very, very negligible. Very, very few, very, very negligible that you can find ways of addressing. I pray Allah Ta'ala assist us. I pray Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala continue to guide us and be with us. It's a vast area. Some scholars say, as a hadith was being quoted by the scholars, that this is an area that you have limited scholars at the end of time that will be expert in this particular area. It's an area that is dearly needed. And I think it will not be out of place if one day we organize a special workshop for sharing of inheritance. And then we'll take a lot of time to look at different issues that has to do with that. So that at any point in time, the basic ones at least, we can be able to do. I know there are some softwares already developed, even by one of our professors here, where at the point of developing the software, he showed me Dr. Adamu. Then Kali Sambu was around, and I think when he was developing that software himself, Professor Adamu showed me the software. We look at it, even then we have to travel up to the Sultanate to go for certain things. The software is in existence, it's working. We know Professor Adamu, the director of ITS, he has the software of sharing inheritance. Once you key in, you put the, what do you call it, those are the entitled and the amount, whatever. It used to do all the eliminations, and at the end, the real ratio and the sharing. But I think this is not enough for us to rely on softwares. We need to also know the nitty-gritty, the technicalities involved, how all this is done. I pray Allah Ta'ala will continue to be with us and assist us
اللهم انا ولا تعن علينا وانصرنا ولا تنصر علينا واهدنا سبل السلام ونجنا من الظلمات الى النور. اللهم ربنا ارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك الراشدين برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين واعز الشرك والمشركين ودمر اعداءنا اعداءك اعداء الدين برحمتك يا رب العالمين. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا انك انت التواب الرحيم ووفقنا الى مرضاتك برحمتك يا رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزه عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك.